primary fisheries societies, and dairy cooperative societies in uncovered panchayat and villages in the next 5 years. Health, education, and skilling. 157 new nursing colleges will be established in co-location with the existing 157 medical colleges established since 2014. A mission to eliminate sickle cell anemia by 2047 will be launched. It will entail awareness creation, universal screening of 7 crore people in the age group of 0 to 40 years in affected tribal areas, and counseling through collaborative efforts of central ministries and state governments. Facilities in select ICMR labs, Indian Council for Medical Research Labs, will be made available for research by public and private medical college faculty and private sector R&D teams for encouraging collaborative research and innovation. A new program to promote research and innovation in pharmaceuticals will be taken up through centers of excellence. We shall also encourage industry to invest in research and development in specific priority areas. Dedicated multidisciplinary courses for medical devices will be supported in existing institutions to ensure availability of skilled manpower for futuristic medical technologies, high-end manufacturing, and research. Teachers training. Teachers training will be re-envisioned through innovative pedagogy, curriculum transaction, continuous professional development, dipstick surveys, and ICT implementation. The District Institute of Education and Training will be developed as vibrant institutes of excellence for this purpose. National Digital Library for Children and Adolescents. A National Digital Library for Children and Adolescents will be set up for facilitating availability of quality books across geographies, languages, genres, and levels, and device-agnostic accessibility. States will be encouraged to set up physical libraries for them at panchayat and ward levels and provide infrastructure for accessing the national digital library resources. Additionally, to build a culture of reading and to make up for pandemic time learning loss, the National Book Trust, the Children's Book Trust, and other sources will be encouraged to provide and replenish non-curricular titles in regional languages and in English to these physical libraries. Collaboration with NGOs that work in literacy will also be a part of this initiative to inculcate financial literacy. Financial sector regulators and organizations will be encouraged to provide age-appropriate reading material to these libraries. I move to priority 2, reaching the last mile. Prime Minister Vajpayee's government had formed the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and the Department of Development of Northeast Region to provide a sharper focus to the objective of reaching the last mile. Our government has formed the Ministries of Ayush, Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Skill Development, Jal Shakti, and cooperation. Building on the success of the Aspirational Districts program, the government has recently launched the Aspirational Blocks program, covering 500 blocks for saturation of essential government services across multiple domains such as health, nutrition, education, agriculture, water resources, financial inclusion, skill development, and basic infrastructure. Manya Speaker, sir, Pradhan Mantri PBTG, which is Primitive Vulnerable Tribal Groups Development Mission, is being launched. To improve socio-economic conditions of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, the PBTGs as we refer them to, Pradhan Mantri PBTG Development Mission will be launched. This will saturate PBTG families and habitations with basic facilities such as safe housing, clean drinking water and sanitation, improved access to education, health, nutrition, road and telecom connectivity, and sustainable livelihood opportunities. An amount of 15,000 crores will be made available to implement the mission in the next 3 years under the Development Action Plan for the Scheduled Tribes. Ekalavya Model Residential Schools. In the next 3 years, Center will recruit 38,800 teachers and support staff for the 740 Ekalavya Model Residential Schools, which is serving 3.5 lakh tribal students. In the drought-prone central regions of Karnataka, central assistance of 5,300 crore will be given to Upper Bhadra project to provide sustainable micro irrigation and filling up of surface tanks for drinking water. PM Awas Yojana. The outlay for PM Awas Yojana is being enhanced by 66% to over 79,000 crores. Bharat Shared Repository of Inscriptions will be set up in a digital epigraphy museum with digitization of 1 lakh ancient inscriptions in the first stage. Support for poor prisoners. For poor persons who are in prisons and unable to afford the penalty or the bail amount, required financial support will be provided. Priority number 3, infrastructure and investment. Investments in infrastructure and productive capacity have a large multiplier impact on growth and employment. After the subdued period of the pandemic, private investments are growing again. The budget takes the lead once again to ramp up the virtuous cycle of investment and job creation. Honorable Speaker, sir, the capital investment outlay is being increased steeply for the 3rd year in a row by 33% to 10 lakh crores, which would be which would be 3.3% of GDP. This will almost be 3 times the outlay made in 2019-20. This substantial increase in recent years is central to the government's efforts to enhance growth potential and job creation, crowd in private investments, and provide a cushion against global headwinds. The direct capital investment by the center is complemented by the provision made for creation of capital assets through grants and aids to state. The effective capital expenditure of the center is budgeted at 13.7 lakh crore rupees, which will be 4.5% of GDP. Support to state governments for capital investment. I have decided to continue the 50-year interest-free loan to state governments for one more year to spur investment in infrastructure and to incentivize them for complementary policies actions with a significantly enhanced outlay of 1.3 lakh crores. The newly established Infrastructure Finance Secretariat will assist all stakeholders for more private investment in infrastructure, including railways, roads, urban infrastructure, and power, which are predominantly depend on public resources. The harmonized master list of infrastructure will be reviewed by an expert committee for recommending the classification and financing framework suitable for Amrit Kal. A capital outlay, I'm talking about railways now, sir, Honorable Speaker, railways. A capital outlay of 2.40 lakh crores has been provided for the railways. This is the highest ever outlay this highest ever outlay is about 9 times the outlay made in 2013-14. 100 critical transport infrastructure projects for last and first mile connectivity for ports, coal, steel, fertilizer, and food grain sectors have been identified. They will be taken up on priority with investment of 75,000 crores, including 15,000 crore from private sources. 50 additional airports, heliports, water aerodromes, and advanced landing grounds will be revived for improving regional air connectivity. Sustainable cities for tomorrow. States and cities will be encouraged to undertake urban planning reforms and actions to transform our cities into sustainable cities of tomorrow. This means efficient use of land resources, adequate resources for urban infrastructure, transit-oriented development, enhanced availability and affordability of urban land, and opportunities for all. Through property tax governance reforms and ring-fencing user charges on urban infrastructure, cities will be incentivized to improve their creditworthiness for municipal bonds. Like the RIDF, an urban infrastructure development fund will be established through use of priority sector lending shortfall. This will be managed by the National Housing Bank and will be used by public agencies to create urban infrastructure in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. States will be encouraged to leverage resources from the grants of the 15th Finance Commission as well as existing schemes to adopt appropriate user charges while accessing the UIDF. We expect to make available 10,000 crore rupees per annum for this purpose. All cities and towns will be enabled for 100% mechanical desludging of septic tanks and sewers to transition from manhole to machine hole mode. Enhanced focus will be provided for scientific management of dry and wet waste. Honorable Speaker, sir, our Prime Minister had said, good governance is the key to a nation's progress. Our government is committed to providing a transparent and accountable administration which works for the betterment and welfare of common citizens. Mission Karma Yogi. Under Mission Karma Yogi, center, states and the union territories are making and implementing capacity building plans for civil servants. The government has also launched an integrated online training platform, I Got Karma Yogi, to provide continuous learning opportunities for lakhs of government employees to upgrade their skills and facilitate people-centric approach. Sir, for enhancing ease of doing business, more than 39,000 compliances have been reduced and more than 3,400 legal provisions have been decriminalized. For furthering the trust-based governance, we have introduced the Jan Vishwas Bill to amend 42 central acts. This budget proposes a series of measures to unleash the potential of our economy. Centers of Excellence for Artificial Intelligence. For realizing the vision of Make AI in India and Make AI Work for India, 3 centers of excellence for artificial intelligence will be set up in top educational institutions. Leading industry players will partner in conducting interdisciplinary research, develop cutting-edge applications, and scalable problem solutions in the areas of agriculture, health, and sustainable cities. This will galvanize an effective AI ecosystem and nurture quality human resources in the field. National Data Governance Policy. To unleash innovation and research by startups and academia, a national data governance policy will be brought out. This will enable access to anonymized data. The KYC process will be simplified, adopting a risk-based instead of one-size-fits-all approach. The financial sector regulators will also be encouraged to have a KYC system fully amenable to meet the needs of digital India. One-stop solution for identity and address updating. A one-stop solution for reconciliation and updating of identity and address of individuals maintained by various government agencies, regulators, and regulated entities will be established using DigiLocker service and Aadhaar as foundational identity. Speaker, sir, common business identifier. For the business establishments required to have a permanent account number, the PAN will be used as the common identifier for all digital systems of specified government agencies. This will bring ease of doing business, and it will be facilitated through a legal mandate. For obviating the need for separate submission of same information to different government agencies, a system of unified filing process will be set up. Such filing of information or return in simplified forms on a common portal will be shared with other agencies as per the filer's choice. Vivad Se Vishwas 1, relief for MSMEs. In cases of failure by MSMEs to execute contracts, during the COVID period, 95% of the forfeited amount relating to the bid or performance security will be returned to them by government and government undertakings. This will provide relief to the MSMEs. Vivad Se Vishwas 2, settling contractual disputes. To settle contractual disputes of government and government undertakings, wherein arbitral award is under challenge in a court, a voluntary settlement scheme with standardized terms will be introduced. This will be done by offering graded settlement terms depending on pendency level of the dispute. The state support mission of Niti Aayog will be continued for 3 years for our collective efforts towards national priorities. Result-based financing. To better allocate scarce resources for competing development needs, the financing of select schemes will be changed on a pilot basis from input-based to result-based. E-courts. For efficient administration of justice, phase 3 of e-courts projects phase 3 of the e-courts project will be launched with an outlay of 7,000 crores. Fintech services in India have been facilitated by our digital public infrastructure, including Aadhaar, PM Jan Dhan Yojana, Video, KYC, India Stack, and UPI. To enable more fintech innovative services, the scope of documents available in DigiLocker for individuals will be expanded. An entity DigiLocker will be set up for the use by MSMEs, large businesses, and also charitable trusts. This will be towards storing and sharing documents online securely whenever needed with various authorities, regulators, banks, and other business entities. 5G services. 100 labs for developing applications using 5G services will be set up in engineering institutions. To realize a new range of opportunities, business models, and employment potential, the labs will cover, among others, applications such as smart classrooms, precision farming, intelligent transport systems, and healthcare applications. Lab-grown diamonds. Lab-grown diamonds is a technology and innovation-driven emerging sector with high employment potential. These environment-friendly diamonds, which have optically and chemically the same properties as natural diamonds. To encourage indigenous production of LGD, lab-grown diamond seeds and machines, and to reduce import dependency, a research and development grant will be provided to one of the IITs for 5 years. To reduce the cost of production, a proposal to review the custom duty on LGD seeds will be indicated in Part B of the speech. I come to the fifth priority, Honorable Speaker, sir, green growth. Honorable Prime Minister has given a vision for life or lifestyle for environment to spur a movement of environmentally conscious lifestyle. India is moving forward firmly for the Panchamrit, the net zero carbon emission by 2070 to usher in green industrial and economic transition. This budget builds on our focus on green growth. The recently launched National Green Hydrogen Mission, with an outlay of 19,700 crores, will facilitate transition of the economy to low carbon intensity, reduce in dependence on fossil fuel imports and make the country assume technology and market leadership in this sunrise sector. Our target is to reach an annual production of 5 MMT by 2030. Energy transition. This budget provides for 35,000 crores for priority capital investment towards energy transition and net zero objectives and energy security by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. To steer the economy on sustainable development path, battery energy storage systems with capacity of 4,000 MWH will be supported with viability gap funding. A detailed framework for pumped storage projects will also be formulated. Renewable energy evacuation. The interstate transmission system for evacuation and grid integration of 13 gigawatt renewable energy from Ladakh will be constructed with investment of 20,700 crore, including central support of 8,300 crores. Green credit program. For encouraging behavioral change, a green credit program will be notified under the Environment Protection Act. This will incentivize environmentally sustainable and responsive actions by companies, individuals, and local bodies, and help mobilize additional resources for such activities. PM Program for Restoration, Awareness, Nourishment, and Amelioration of Mother Earth, PM Pranam, will be launched to incentivize states and union territories to promote alternative fertilizers and balanced use of chemical fertilizers. Go Bardhan scheme. 500 new waste to wealth plants under Go Bardhan, galvanizing organic bio-agro resources done. Go Bardhan scheme will be established for promoting circular economy. These will include 200 compressed biogas plants, including 75 plants in urban areas, and 300 community or cluster-based plants at a total investment of 10,000 crores. I will refer to this in Part B also. In due course, a 5% CBG mandate will be introduced for all organizations marketing natural and biogas. For collection of biomass and distribution of biomanure, appropriate fiscal support will also be provided. Bharatiya Prakritik Kheti Bio Input Resource Centers. Over the next 3 years, we will facilitate 1 crore farmers to adopt natural farming. For this, Honorable Speaker, 10,000 bio input resource centers will be set up, creating a national level distributed micro fertilizer and pesticide manufacturing network. Mishti. Building on India's success in afforestation, mangrove initiative for shoreline habitats and tangible incomes, Mishti, will be taken up for mangrove plantation along the coastline and on salt pan lands wherever feasible through convergence between Manrega, Campa Fund and other sources. Amrit Dharohar. Wetlands are vital ecosystems which sustain biological diversity. In his latest Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister said, now, I quote, now the total number of Ramsar sites in our country has increased to 75, whereas before 2014, there were only 26, unquote. Local communities have always been at the forefront of conservation efforts. The government will promote their unique conservation values through Amrit Dharohar, a scheme that will be implemented over the next 3 years to encourage optimal use of wetlands and enhance biodiversity, carbon stock, ecotourism opportunities, and income generation for local communities. Coastal shipping. Coastal shipping will be promoted as the energy efficient and lower cost mode of transport, both for passengers and freight, through PPP mode with viability gap funding. Vehicle replacement. Vehicle replacement is an important continuing policy, replacing the old political, replacing, absolutely, thank you. Replacing old polluting vehicles. May be applicable, right? Replacing old polluting vehicles is an important part of greening our economy. In furtherance of the vehicle scrapping policy mentioned in Budget 21-22, I have allocated adequate funds to scrap old vehicles of the central government. States will also be supported in replacing old vehicles and old state ambulances. Honorable Speaker, sir, I move to priority 6, youth power. To empower our youth and help the Amrit PD realize their dreams, we have formulated the National Education Policy, which is very wide in its scope, but one of the things is also to focus on skilling, adopted economic policies that facilitate job creation at scale and have supported business opportunities. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0 will be launched to skill lakhs of youth within the next 3 years. On-job training, industry partnership, and alignment of courses with needs of industry will be emphasized. The scheme will also cover new age courses for Industry 4.0 like coding, AI, robotics, mechatronics, IoT, 3D printing, drones, and other soft skills. To skill youth for international opportunities, 30 Skill India International Centers will be set up across different states. The digital ecosystem for skilling will be further expanded with the launch of a unified platform. Last revised 3 years ago, this is proposed to be revised upwards by about 16%. Direct taxes. I now come to my direct tax proposals. Honorable Speaker, these proposals aim to maintain continuity and stability of taxation, further simplify and rationalize various provisions to reduce the compliance burden, promote the entrepreneurial spirit, and provide tax relief to citizens. It has been constant endeavor of the Income Tax Department to improve taxpayer services by making compliance easy and smooth. Our taxpayers portal received a maximum of 72 lakh returns in a day, processed more than 6.5 crore returns this year. Average processing period reduced from 93 days in financial year 13-14 to 16 days only now. And 45% of the returns were processed within 24 hours. We intend to further improve this, roll out the next generation common IT return form for taxpayer convenience, and also plan to strengthen the grievance redressal mechanism. MSMEs and professionals. MSMEs are growth engines of our economy. micro enterprises with turnover up to 2 crore of rupees, and certain professionals with turnover of up to 50 lakh rupees can avail the benefit of presumptive taxation. I propose to provide enhanced limits of 3 crore and 75 lakh respectively to the taxpayers whose cash receipts are no more than 5%. Whose cash receipts are no more than 5%. Moreover, to support MSMEs in timely receipt of payments, I propose to allow deduction for expenditure incurred on payments made to them only when payment is actually made. Cooperation. Cooperation is a value to be cherished. In realizing our Prime Minister's goal for Sehkar Se Samriddhi and his resolve to connect the spirit of cooperation with the spirit of Amrit Kal, in addition to the measures proposed in Part A, I have a slew of proposals for the cooperation sector. First, new cooperatives that commence manufacturing activities till 2024 31st March shall get the benefit of a lower tax rate of 15%, as is presently available to new manufacturing companies. Secondly, I propose to provide an opportunity to sugar cooperatives to claim payments made to sugarcane farmers for the period prior to the assessment year 2016-17 as expenditure. This is expected to provide them a relief of almost 10,000 crores. Thirdly, I am providing a higher limit of 2 lakh per member for cash deposits to loans in cash by primary agricultural cooperative societies and primary cooperative agriculture and rural development banks. I repeat that. Thirdly, I am providing a higher limit of 2 lakh per member for cash deposits to and loans in cash by primary agricultural cooperative societies and primary cooperative agricultural and rural development banks. Similarly, a higher limit of 3 crore for TDS on cash withdrawal is being provided to cooperative societies. Startups. Entrepreneurship is vital for a country's economic development. We have taken a number of measures for startups and they have borne results. India is now the third largest ecosystem for startups globally and ranks second in innovation quality among middle income countries. I propose to extend the date of incorporation for income tax benefits to startups from 31/3/2023 to 31/3/2024. I further propose to provide the benefit of carry forward of losses on change of shareholding of startups from 7 years of incorporation to 10 years. To reduce the pendency of appeals at commissioner level, I propose to deploy about 100 joint commissioners for disposal of small appeals. We shall also be more selective in taking up cases for scrutiny of returns already received this year. Better targeting of tax concessions. For better targeting of tax concessions and exemptions, I propose to cap deduction from capital gains on investment in residential house under Section 54 and Section 54F to 10 crores. Another proposal with similar intent is to limit income tax exemption from proceeds of insurance policies with very high value. Rationalization. Honorable Speaker, sir, there are a number of proposals relating to rationalization and simplification. Income of authorities, boards, and commissions set up by statutes of union or state for the purpose of housing, development of cities, towns, and villages, and regulating and developing an activity or matter is proposed to be exempted from income tax. Other major measures in this direction are removing the minimum threshold of 10,000 for TDS and clarifying taxability relating to online gaming, not treating conversion of gold into electronic gold receipts and vice versa as capital gains, reducing the TDS rate from 30% to 20% on taxable portion of EPF withdrawals in non-PAN cases, and taxation on income for market-linked. Other major proposals in the finance bill relate to the following: extension of period of tax benefits to funds relocating to IFSC, GIFT City till 31/3/2025, decriminalization under Section 276A of the Income Tax Act, allowing carry forward of losses on strategic disinvestment, including that of IDBI Bank, and providing EEE status to Agniveer Fund. Personal income tax. Now I come to what everyone is waiting for. Personal income tax. I have 5 major announcements to make in this regard. These primarily benefit our hard-working middle class. The first one concerns rebate. Currently, those with income up to 5 lakh do not pay any income tax in both old and new regimes. I propose to increase the rebate limit to 7 lakhs in the I propose to increase the rebate limit to 7 lakh in the new tax regime. Thus, persons in the new tax regime with income up to 7 lakhs will not have to pay any tax at all. The second proposal relates to middle class individuals. I had introduced in the year new personal income tax regime with 6 income slabs starting from 2.5 lakh. I propose to change the tax structure in this regime by reducing the number of slabs to 5 and increasing the tax exemption limit to 3 lakhs. The new tax rates are 0 to 3 lakh, nil; 3 to 6 lakhs, 5%; 6 to 9 lakhs, 10%; 9 to 12 lakh, 15%; 12 to 15 lakhs, 20%; and above 15 lakhs, 30%. This will provide major relief to all taxpayers in the new regime. An individual with an annual income of 9 lakhs will be required to pay only 45,000 rupees. This is only 5% of his or her income. It is a reduction of 25% on what he or she is required to pay now. That is 60,000. So in the place of 60,000, it is now only 45,000. Similarly, an individual with an income of 15 lakh rupees would be required to pay only 1.5 lakh or 10% of his income or her income, a reduction of 20% from the existing liability of 1,87,500 rupees. My third proposal is for the salaried class and the pensioners, including family pensioners, for whom I propose to extend the benefit of standard deduction to the new tax regime. Each salaried person with an income of 15.5 lakh rupees or more will thus stand to benefit by 52,500 rupees. My fourth announcement in personal income tax is regarding the highest tax rate, which in our country is 42.74%. This is among the highest in the world. I propose to reduce the highest surcharge rate from 37% to 25% in the new tax regime. This would result in reduction of the maximum rate. This would result in the reduction of the maximum tax rate to 39%. Lastly, the limit of 3 lakh rupees for tax exemption on leave encashment on retirement of non-government salaried employees was last fixed in the year 2002, when the highest basic pay in the government was only 30,000 rupees per month. In line with the increase in the government salaries, I am proposing to increase this limit to 25 lakh rupees. We are also making the new income tax regime as the default tax regime. However, citizens will continue to have the option to avail the benefit of the old tax regime. Apart from these, I am also making some other changes as given in the annexure. As a result of these proposals, revenue of about 38,000 crore to 37,000 crore in direct taxes and rupees 1,000 crore in indirect taxes will be foregone, while revenue of about 3,000 crore will be additionally mobilized. Thus, the total revenue foregone is about 35,000 crores annually. Honorable Speaker, sir, with these words, I commend the budget to this august House. One hour, 25 minutes.
Item number 1, माननीय item number 2, श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण जी.
Sir, with your permission, I lay on the table of the following statements. Under Section 3(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act 2003, 1. Medium-term fiscal policy cum fiscal policy strategy statement and macroeconomic framework statement.
माननीय सदस्यगण, जैसा कि आपको समाचार भाग 2 के माध्यम से पहले ही सूचित किया जा चुका है कि माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी के बजट भाषण की प्रतियां हार्ड कॉपी के रूप में उपलब्ध कराई गई है. आप बजट भाषण की अपनी अपनी प्रति प्रकाशन पलक से ले लें. आपको ये भी सूचित किया.
लहलहाती फसल, भरे पूरे खेत खलिहान, हर किसान का बस यही अरमान. लेकिन कभी बारिश, कभी बिजली, कभी ओला, कभी सूखा.
भैया खेती में तो जोखिम रहता ही है, अब क्या करें.
अब प्रकृति का कोनो उपाय है का?
प्रकृति का तो नहीं, मगर नुकसान का उपाय है.
अच्छा,
हाँ, AIC से फसल बीमा.
फसल बीमा?
मतलब मामूली सा प्रीमियम दो
और बड़ी चिंता से मुक्ति पाओ.
अरे वाह.
जब AIC का है साथ तो ना डर ना फिक्र की बात.
एग्रीकल्चर इंश्योरेंस कंपनी ऑफ इंडिया लिमिटेड.
AIC.
ये युद्ध है, यहाँ कुछ भी हो सकता है.
इस लड़ाई को मुझे जिंदा रखना है.
मुझ जैसे कई लोग हैं जो आपका साथ देना चाहते हैं.
अंग्रेजों के देसी सैनिकों ने अपने ही अफसरों के मुंह पर तूपे तान दी.
आप तो मणिपुर के युवराज हैं. ये सब अत्याचार क्यों सहन कर रहे हैं?
सहन नहीं, प्रतीक्षा कर रहा हूँ सही समय की.
स्वराज के लिए जिए हैं, स्वराज के लिए ही मरेंगे. भारत माता की जय. भारत माता की जय.
पहले तितली गई, फिर पूजा गई. चाचा चाची का घर छोड़कर जाना कुछ भुला नहीं पा रही.
कीर्ति के निराश
हैंड वॉश ऐड है ना? एक डॉक्टर होगा, एक छोटा बच्चा जिसके 2 गंदे हाथ और एक सुपर स्मार्ट मम्मी, है ना? चलो हैंड वॉश दो। अरे ये तो सैशे है।
मैम ये सैशे ही हैंड वॉश है।
इसके मैजिकल पाउडर को पानी में मिलाओ, शेक करो और साबुन के दाम में गोदरेज मैजिक हैंड वॉश तैयार।
नाउ दैट्स मैजिक।
वंदे मातरम। गणतंत्र दिवस की अनेक बधाई और शुभकामनाएं। हमारे प्यारे भारत की पुण्य भूमि पर एक नई सुबह, नए संदेश को लेकर आई ये सुबह, जब भारत मना रहा है अपना 74वां गणतंत्र दिवस। अनगिनत देशभक्तों और देश प्रेमियों ने इस देश को संवारने में अपना योगदान दिया, कष्ट सहे, बलिदान दिए, देश की माटी को अपने माथे का गौरव बनाकर उसके लिए सर्वस्व निछावर करने को तत्पर रहे हैं। इन्हीं प्रयासों से हम आजाद हुए। आजाद होने के बाद हम लोकतांत्रिक गणराज्य बने, जब हमने अपना संविधान अपनाया। आज हमारे गणतंत्र बनने की सालगिरह है। इस बार निखरे और संवरे कर्तव्य पथ पर सजावट पहले से बेहतर है। दर्शकों की आकर्षक दीर्घाएं हैं, जनसमूह में उत्सुकता और जोश है। आज बसंत पंचमी का त्योहार भी है। बसंत पंचमी की अनेक शुभकामनाएं। मकर संक्रांति से उत्तरायण हुए सूर्य का असर अब मौसम पर साफ दिखने लगा है। आज की सुबह का मौसम शानदार गणतंत्र दिवस परेड के बिल्कुल अनुकूल है। कर्तव्य पथ गणतंत्र दिवस समारोह का मुख्य आयोजन स्थल है। राष्ट्र अपने अमृत महोत्सव में आज पहली बार कर्तव्य पथ पर परेड का साक्षी बनेगा। गौरवशाली देशवासियों के साथ दुनिया भर के विदेशी मित्रों की मौजूदगी में गणतंत्र दिवस समारोह मनाने का विशेष अवसर है। आज के समारोह में परेड की सलामी भारत की माननीय राष्ट्रपति लेंगी। गणतंत्र दिवस समारोह में मिस्र के राष्ट्रपति महामहिम अब्दुल फतेह अल सीसी हमारे मुख्य अतिथि हैं। तो अब से कुछ ही देर में शुरू होगा हमारी सांस्कृतिक विरासत और सैन्य शक्ति का भव्य प्रदर्शन।
Namaskar. As the largest democracy in the world awakens to celebrate its 74th Republic Day, we reach out to every Indian, not only across the length and breadth of this beautiful, diverse and unique country we call home, but also to those who, while living in foreign lands, feel that special tug of this ancient land. Republic Day greetings to one and all. Nestling a new name in its artistic aura, this historic avenue, now named Kartavya Path, is ready and waiting to host that celebration of military movement, armored display, and cultural kaleidoscope we call our Republic Day Parade. It's a misty morning. The early morning chill seems to be on its way out, and as the morning mist rises so that the sun may rise to the occasion, its gentle warmth will slowly elevate the temperature, spirits, and of course, curiosity levels. Well, winter has this beautiful way of helping us understand the importance and value of warmth in our lives. Today, these winter-washed vistas come alive with the warmth of brotherhood and national pride. Kitted out in their warm winter woolens, viewers from all walks of life are seated here as one people to celebrate our diversity while valuing our oneness. Celebration, in fact, takes on true meaning only when the reasons behind it have meaning for all, including the last marginalized person. The engines of the largest democracy in the world are its people, its driving force. The 26th of January marks that day when our Constitution came into effect on this day. It was in 1950. The founding fathers of this nation and those visionaries who framed the longest written constitution in the world knew that only on the pillars of justice, liberty, fraternity, and equality could an enduring, equitable, and empowering democracy rest.
गणतंत्र गौरवशाली भारतीय संस्कृति में सदियों से चली आ रही एक समृद्ध परंपरा। भारतीय इतिहास के लिए ये कोई नया शब्द नहीं है। वैदिक साहित्य, ऋग्वेद, अथर्ववेद और पौराणिक ग्रंथों में भी गणतंत्र का वर्णन है। बौद्ध काल में भी कई चर्चित गणराज्य थे। पाणिनि के अष्टाध्यायी और कौटिल्य के अर्थशास्त्र में भी गणराज्यों का जिक्र है। हर भारतीय की रगों में सदियों से बह रही गणतांत्रिक प्रणाली को हमारे नीति निर्धारकों ने आजादी के बाद एक बार फिर से जीवंत कर गणतंत्र के मजबूत धागों में पिरो दिया। 26 जनवरी 1950 को हमने अपना पहला गणतंत्र दिवस बहुत ही उत्साह से मनाया और तभी से ये यात्रा इसी तरह चली आ रही है। भारतीय गणतंत्र का आधार है हमारा संविधान। दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लिखित भारतीय संविधान उन सपनों को साकार करता है जो परतंत्रता की बेड़ियों में जकड़े भारत के नागरिकों ने स्वतंत्र और खुशहाल जीवन के लिए देखा था। गुलाम भारत में देशवासियों के पास कोई अधिकार नहीं था। उस समय से ही उनके मन में खुद के लिए अधिकार की ख्वाहिश थी। आजादी के बाद जब भारत का संविधान बना तो उसमें देशवासियों को बेहतर और खुशहाल जीवन जीने के लिए मौलिक अधिकार दिए गए। मौलिक अधिकारों की बात करें तो इनमें समता व समानता का अधिकार, स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार, शोषण के विरुद्ध अधिकार, धार्मिक स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार, संस्कृति एवं शिक्षा संबंधित अधिकार, संवैधानिक उपचारों का अधिकार शामिल है। देशवासी अपने अधिकारों का उपयोग कर सकें और कर्तव्यों का ठीक ढंग से निर्वहन कर सकें, इसके लिए बेहतर माहौल देना सरकार का उत्तरदायित्व है। मौजूदा सरकार ने अपनी दूरदर्शी सोच, कठिन मेहनत और कल्याणकारी योजनाओं से लोगों को हंसने, मुस्कुराने और खुलकर जीवन जीने का अवसर दिया है। ये देश सशक्त हो रहा है, समृद्ध हो रहा है, लगातार नई नई बुलंदियों को हासिल कर न्यू इंडिया के निर्माण की ओर आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Welcome viewers to the newly refurbished Vista, where this magnificent parade will unfold, a spectacle that happens on the magnificent stretch from Raisina Hills to the National War Memorial, a visual delight for an invited and ticketed audience seated on both sides of the ceremonial boulevard, the newly named Kartavya Path. Every year on the 26th of January, India celebrates its Republic Day with the greatest pride and zeal. As we commemorate the day, we became truly independent and a democratic republic nation. This day, our constitution, which is one of the most admired constitutions of the world, was enacted, meticulously drafted under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, having in it several salient features that distinguish it from that of other countries. The world's longest written national constitution, it lays down the framework that demarcates fundamental political code, structure, procedures, powers and duties of government institutions, and sets out fundamental rights, directive principles and the duties of citizens. It is a day when thousands line up, braving the weather and endless queues for security checks and entry from Raisina to Red Fort, where they are seated to be a part of this grand spectacle. Everything is shiny and bright, polished and primed for this grand parade, and this is a day that evokes emotions of grandeur and patriotism in every citizen, as it marks the power of Indian citizens to choose their government democratically. As India marks its platinum jubilee year of independence in Amrit Kal, we rightfully have so much to be proud of, as we're all gathered here to be a part of the 74th Republic Day celebrations. Children with their cheeks painted with the tricolour, and here you can see how eager and enthusiastic they are. In a few minutes, we shall witness the grand spectacle of our country's military prowess, scientific development, our rich cultural past and present, and the most favourite and not to be missed part of the parade at the end, when we have the daredevils of the Corps of Signals as well as the flypast by the Indian Air Force.
74वें गणतंत्र दिवस का राष्ट्रीय पर्व यानी हर भारतीय के लिए गर्व और गौरव का अवसर। गणतंत्र दिवस के इस पावन अवसर पर राष्ट्रीयता के रंगों से दमकता नया नवेला कर्तव्य पथ आज भव्य परेड का साक्षी बनेगा, जो विजय चौक से आरंभ होगी और इंडिया गेट होते हुए मेजर ध्यानचंद राष्ट्रीय स्टेडियम तक पहुंचेगी। पिछले वर्षों में संकल्प से सिद्धि के रास्ते पर चलते हुए लगभग हर क्षेत्र में हमारे देश ने सफलता के नए अध्याय लिखे हैं। स्वास्थ्य, शिक्षा, आधारभूत सुविधाएं, औद्योगिक क्षेत्र में आशातीत प्रगति, विदेश नीति के नए आयाम, ये सभी अमृत काल के स्वर्णिम हस्ताक्षर हैं। आज के भारत में सकारात्मक बदलाव की सतत प्रक्रिया का अहम हिस्सा है आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान। देश के अमृत काल में भारत को G20 जैसी महत्वपूर्ण संस्था की अध्यक्षता का अनुपम अवसर मिला है और G20 का शिखर सम्मेलन इसी वर्ष राजधानी दिल्ली में आयोजित किया जाएगा।
आजादी के अमृत काल में देश स्वर्णिम चमक बिखेरते हुए आगे बढ़ रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नजरिए से अमृत काल का लक्ष्य है एक ऐसे भारत का निर्माण जहां दुनिया का हर आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, ताकि विकास पथ पर देशवासी लगातार आगे बढ़ते रहें। उत्तर पूर्वी भारत में सड़क और रेलवे नेटवर्क के नजरिए से कनेक्टिविटी का नया इतिहास लिखा जा रहा है। एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी से नॉर्थ ईस्ट, बांग्लादेश, म्यांमार और दक्षिण पूर्वी एशिया से भी कनेक्ट हो रहा है।
लॉ ब्रेक करके यू डोंट क्रिएट फियर, ओनली क्राइम। अब आपको भी सीखना होगा कि डर के जीना क्या होता है।
लव एंड रेवोल्यूशन, इन दोनों चीजों के लिए युद्ध नहीं, दिलों को जीतना जरूरी है।
दीपक इज आवर मोस्ट फियर्स कमांडर, उसे बाहर लाना ही होगा जेल से।
आई थिंक दे आर प्लानिंग समथिंग बिग सर।
This operation should go down in history as the biggest armed revolution.
बात जम्मू कश्मीर की करें तो उम्मीदों का नया सूरज यहां अपनी चमक बिखेरने लगा है। भारत के इस बदलाव में समाज के हर वर्ग का योगदान है। छोटे किसान बने देश की शान, कृषि वैज्ञानिक कर रहे हैं सूझबूझ से काम, और स्वामित्व योजना के परवान चढ़ने से हो रहा है सकारात्मक बदलाव। डीप ओशन मिशन, एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स और आर्थिक क्षेत्र में सहकारवाद पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। एक तरफ भारत नेक्स्ट जनरेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और वर्ल्ड क्लास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पर ध्यान दे रहा है, तो वहीं देश को बेवजह के कानूनों की जकड़ से मुक्ति मिल रही है। गांव से लेकर शहर तक के कारोबारियों के लिए वोकल फॉर लोकल ने ग्लोबल मार्केट के दरवाजे खोले हैं। हर एक प्रोडक्ट भारत का ब्रांड एम्बेसडर है। इसी सोच से पूरी दुनिया में भारत की नई छवि बन रही है। शासन में पारदर्शिता का आलम यह है कि दुनिया इस बात की भी साक्षी है कि कैसे भारत अपने यहाँ गवर्नेंस का नया अध्याय लिख रहा है।
करोड़ों लोगों को 4 लाख रुपया तक के दुर्घटना और जीवन बीमा की सुविधा मिली। करोड़ों भारतीयों को 60 वर्ष की आयु के बाद एक निश्चित पेंशन की व्यवस्था मिली। अपना पक्का घर, टॉयलेट, गैस कनेक्शन, बिजली कनेक्शन, पानी का कनेक्शन, बैंक में खाता, ऐसी सुविधाओं के लिए तो गरीब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर काट काट करके उनकी जिंदगी पूरी हो जाती, वो हार जाते थे। हमारी सरकार ने इन सारी परिस्थितियों को बदला।
यहाँ 21वीं सदी की जरूरतों को पूरा करने वाली नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति है। हर वर्ग के छात्र जब मातृभाषा में पढ़कर प्रोफेशनल्स बनेंगे तो उनके सामर्थ्य के साथ न्याय होगा। भारत के लिए गौरव की बात है कि शिक्षा हो या खेल, बोर्ड्स परीक्षाओं के नतीजे हों या ओलंपिक्स का मेडल, हमारी बेटियां आज अभूतपूर्व प्रदर्शन कर रही हैं। आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाने के लिए भारत का ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भर होना अनिवार्य है। इसी दिशा में एक सार्थक पहल है नेशनल हाइड्रोजन मिशन। अमृत काल में आगे बढ़ रहे भारत की एक बड़ी उपलब्धि है G20 की अध्यक्षता।
आज मैं ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूं कि भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता इंक्लूसिव, एम्बिशियस, डिसिसिव और एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होगी।
इंडोनेशिया ने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को G20 की अध्यक्षता सौंपी। भारत वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर के भाव के साथ इस उत्तरदायित्व को निभाने के लिए तैयार है। भारत का एजेंडा समावेशी, निर्णायक, महत्वाकांक्षी और कार्यों के प्रति समर्पित होगा। G20 शिखर सम्मेलन होने तक देश भर के 50 शहरों में 200 से अधिक बैठकों की योजना बनाई गई है। भारत G20 में संस्कृति, सांस्कृतिक विरासत, विविधता और 75 वर्षों की अपनी उपलब्धियों और प्रगति को भी पेश करेगा। राष्ट्र प्रथम सदैव प्रथम की भावना से भारत अमृत काल में नया अध्याय लिखने को तैयार है।
A spectacle of this scale cannot be organized without massive organizational skill and military discipline, planning from a multitude of agencies. And each year, the parade showcases and celebrates our military might, the cultural diversity, and the tableaus depicting the progress and achievements, the rich traditions of music, dance, our soldiers, our freedom fighters, the brave children, the many talented other children and youth who take part in the parade, all coming together in the biggest event in the capital city. Thousands of participants who brave months of preparations under the most tough weather conditions and the tightest and most elaborate security arrangements to put up a spectacular, colorful and scrupulously choreographed show that is beamed across the country and beyond for everyone to see India at its most fine. The parade itself begins at Raisina Hill, Vijay Chowk, and traverses through Kartavya Path up to the National War Memorial and then goes on to Red Fort, a distance of around 8 kilometers. Special mention must be made of the departure from protocol this year to include in its invited guests. Right now you're seeing on the screen the many children who've been invited here, but essentially we're talking about the unsung heroes of our country, the Shram Yogis, who have contributed to the construction and renovation of this vista on which we are today. The power corridor, the new parliament and the executive enclaves of the Vice President and the Prime Minister's office and residence. These are workers and also street vendors, milk and vegetable vendors who are occupying the enclosure which is opposite the saluting days, being given the pride of place, making the whole event inclusive, participative and truly democratic. A republic that is by the people, of the people and for the people. We also have some 200 students, which you saw a little earlier, students and teachers who will be part of the Prime Minister's initiative of Pariksha Pe Charcha and our special guests of today's parade. The entire stretch from Rashtrapati Bhavan to the War Memorial has been renovated, and it's after 2 years of construction and refurbishment that we're getting to see this aesthetically designed ceremonial boulevard. The audience at Kartavya Path, seated on the newly installed bleachers with retractable seats that have been reduced and reorganized this year for around 45,000 seats, of which 32,000 are for the public.
कर्तव्य पथ जो पिछले वर्ष तक राजपथ था, वो सेंट्रल विस्टा के सौंदर्यीकरण और सुधार का परिणाम है। इस पूरे इलाके पर बदलाव की ऐसी बयार चली है जिसने इसके कायाकल्प की प्रक्रिया शुरू कर दी है। वर्षों से जिन बातों की जरूरत महसूस की जा रही थी, उनको ध्यान में रखते हुए सेंट्रल विस्टा का काम जारी है। राष्ट्रीय समर स्मारक इंडिया गेट से आगे और ये कर्तव्य पथ सेंट्रल विस्टा के तहत राष्ट्रपति भवन से लेकर इंडिया गेट तक का क्षेत्र आता है। 100 वर्ष से भी ज्यादा पहले बनाई गई इमारतों की जरूरत वक्त के साथ बदल गई है। इसमें आज के मुताबिक
तन्वी यार, छोटा सा पिंपल है, उसे बड़ा मत बना। रिलैक्स नेहा, कबीर केयर नहीं करेगा। मायरा, कोई स्टेयर नहीं करेगा, समझी? पिंपल है तो क्या, क्लीन एंड क्लियर भी तो है। गुड पॉइंट यार डूड, क्लीन एंड क्लियर।
सुविधाएं और जगह को देखते हुए सेंट्रल विस्टा के सौंदर्यीकरण का कार्य शुरू किया गया। रायसीना पहाड़ी पर ऐतिहासिक राष्ट्रपति भवन और रायसीना पहाड़ी के नीचे उतरते ही नॉर्थ ब्लॉक, साउथ ब्लॉक की इमारतें, जहां प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय और अन्य महत्वपूर्ण मंत्रालय हैं। विजय चौक के उत्तर में लोकतंत्र का मंदिर, भारत की संसद है। ऐतिहासिक राष्ट्रपति भवन, ये सभी इमारतें 1911 से 1931 के बीच बनी थी। इंडिया गेट के आसपास का पूरा इलाका स्थानीय और देशी पर्यटकों और विदेशी पर्यटकों का पसंदीदा स्थान रहता है। काफी समय से ये महसूस किया जा रहा था कि सुविधाओं की कमी पड़ रही है। सेंट्रल विस्टा का यह पूरा इलाका अब बदल रहा है। आने वालों के लिए सुविधाएं हैं, साफ सफाई है। यहां आने का अनुभव अब एक सुखद याद बनकर रह जाता है।
नया भारत, नई संभावनाएं, नई उम्मीदें, और इन्हीं उम्मीदों को नई उड़ान दे रहा है सेंट्रल विस्टा। ये कहानी है आत्मनिर्भर भारत की। पर्यावरण को बिना कोई नुकसान पहुंचाए रायसीना पहाड़ी और आसपास के दायरे में फैली ये परियोजना किसी सपने को साकार करने जैसी है। इसमें प्रधानमंत्री और उपराष्ट्रपति के नए आवास सहित एक नए त्रिकोणीय संसद भवन, एक कॉमन केंद्रीय सचिवालय और राष्ट्रपति भवन से इंडिया गेट तक के 3 किलोमीटर लंबे कर्तव्य पथ को नया रूप दिया जाना शामिल है। सेंट्रल विस्टा परियोजना में दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र के मंदिर, वर्तमान संसद भवन के ठीक सामने नए संसद भवन का निर्माण किया जा रहा है। स्थान की कमी और अन्य जरूरतों को महसूस करते हुए नए संसद भवन को भव्य और नई सुविधाओं के साथ विशाल स्वरूप में बनाया जा रहा है, जिसमें लोकसभा चेंबर 3115 वर्ग मीटर में होगा और इसमें 543 सीटों की जगह 888 सीटें होंगी। राष्ट्रीय फूल कमल की थीम पर राज्यसभा का निर्माण कुल 3,220 वर्ग मीटर क्षेत्र में किया जाएगा। इसमें 245 की जगह 384 सीटें होंगी। नए परिसर में एक बड़ा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हॉल होगा, जिसमें भारत की लोकतांत्रिक विरासत की झलक दिखाई देगी। हाल ही में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने संसद भवन की छत पर स्थापित कांसे से निर्मित 9,500 किलोग्राम के 20.5 फीट ऊंचे राष्ट्रीय प्रतीक सिंह शीर्ष का अनावरण किया। ये प्रतीक भारत के गौरवपूर्ण इतिहास का साक्षी है। सेंट्रल विस्टा पुनर्निर्माण परियोजना के अंतर्गत प्रधानमंत्री ने राष्ट्रपति भवन से इंडिया गेट तक 3 किलोमीटर के कर्तव्य पथ और ग्रेनाइट से बनी नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस की एक प्रतिमा का अनावरण किया। ये प्रतिमा ऐतिहासिक इंडिया गेट के ठीक सामने सेंट्रल विस्टा एवेन्यू में स्थापित की गई है। एवेन्यू को पर्यटकों और दिव्यांगजनों की सुविधा को ध्यान में रखते हुए विशेष रूप से डिजाइन किया गया है। चाहे जन सुविधाएं हों या परिवहन, छोटी से छोटी जरूरत का ख्याल रखा गया है और इसे नया रूप दिया गया है। आने वाले समय में सेंट्रल विस्टा नए भारत के गौरव की नई कहानी बयां करेगा।
Kartavya Path prettified and preening, and it seems that this ceremonial boulevard is very well aware of its importance today, eagerly awaiting the host that is going to happen of medley of music. And here we are, over here in the audience, specially invited Shram Yogis, people who have contributed to actually renovating and redoing this ceremonial boulevard. The aim and the theme, of course, is more inclusion of the common person and mainstreaming it. We have street vendors, small vegetable vendors, and also we have special invitees, young children who will be participating in Pariksha Pe Charcha, the program, 200 of them, all over here, special enclosures, frontline VIPs. So Kartavya Path actually waiting to host and eagerly awaiting to hear the sounds of a medley of sounds. Varied beats as the parade goes by, the crisp clip-clop of horse hooves, the gentle swoosh of softly padded camel feet, and the gentle tinkle of the bells as they go by. In fact, India is a nation on the move, and the nature of movement, however, is such that it always leaves things behind. It is the content of what we leave behind and what we take along with us that the context of the future rests. And as we celebrate our 74th Republic Day, our extraordinary existence as a civilization through centuries of change and as a republic for just over 7 decades is foregrounded.
गणतंत्र दिवस परेड के दौरान विदेशी अतिथियों की इस राष्ट्रीय पर्व के समारोह में भाग लेने की विशिष्ट परंपरा रही है। इरविन स्टेडियम पर आयोजित पहले गणतंत्र दिवस समारोह के दौरान इंडोनेशिया के राष्ट्रपति डॉक्टर सुकर्णो मुख्य अतिथि थे। 1955 से वर्तमान आयोजन स्थल पर होने वाली भव्य और आकर्षक परेड में अब तक सर्वाधिक 5 बार फ्रांस और ब्रिटेन के अतिथि शामिल हुए हैं और बहुत से विदेशी मेहमानों ने साल दर साल गणतंत्र दिवस परेड की शोभा बढ़ाई है। इस वर्ष गणतंत्र दिवस के खास मेहमान हैं मिस्र के राष्ट्रपति महामहिम अब्दुल फतेह अल सीसी। भारत और मिस्र इस साल राजनयिक संबंधों की स्थापना के 75 वर्ष मना रहे हैं और भारत की G20 की अध्यक्षता के दौरान मिस्र को अतिथि देश के रूप में भी आमंत्रित किया गया है। खास बात यह है कि पहली बार मिस्र के राष्ट्रपति महामहिम अब्दुल फतेह अल सीसी गणतंत्र दिवस परेड के मुख्य अतिथि के तौर पर हमारे बीच मौजूद होंगे।
मिस्र, अफ्रीका और एशिया को जोड़ने वाला अरब गणतंत्र देश, जो गीजा के पिरामिड के लिए दुनिया भर में मशहूर है।
think that I'm crazy. I'm just so happy na mujhko roko. I'm a free bird na mujhko roko. Happy is my superpower, khush raho na yaar. Happy is my superpower, khush raho na yaar.
The Clovia sale is live. Download the Clovia app and get 50 to 80% off across the site.
मिस्र और भारत के बहुत पुराने सांस्कृतिक और दोस्ताना संबंध रहे हैं। दोनों ही देश इस वर्ष अपने राजनयिक संबंधों की 75वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं। इन्हीं संबंधों को और मजबूत करने की दिशा में इस बार भारत की गणतंत्र दिवस परेड में मिस्र के राष्ट्रपति अब्देल फतह अल सीसी मुख्य अतिथि हैं। ये पहला अवसर है जब 26 जनवरी की परेड में मिस्र के राष्ट्रपति मुख्य अतिथि हैं। अब्देल फतह अल सीसी मिस्र की सेना में बड़े अधिकारी रह चुके हैं। 2010 से 2012 तक उन्होंने मिलिट्री इंटेलिजेंस के निदेशक के रूप में काम किया। वहीं साल 2012-13 में रक्षा मंत्री के रूप में अपनी सेवाएं दी। उन्होंने 2013 और 14 में मिस्र के उप प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में पदभार संभाला। जनवरी 2014 में उन्हें फील्ड मार्शल के रूप में पदोन्नति मिली थी। इसके बाद 2014 में ही वो मिस्र सेना से जनरल पद से सेवानिवृत्त हुए। अब्देल फतह अल सीसी 2014 में मिस्र के छठे राष्ट्रपति बने और 2018 में एक बार फिर प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ राष्ट्रपति निर्वाचित हुए। इन्हीं के कार्यकाल में मिस्र भारत के लिए सबसे बड़े निवेश स्थलों में एक बना। साथ ही दोनों देशों के बीच रक्षा सहयोग को भी आगे बढ़ाया गया है। उम्मीद है कि अब्देल फतह सीसी की भारत यात्रा से दोनों देशों के बीच संबंधों का एक नया अध्याय शुरू होगा।
India and Egypt share close political understanding based on a long history of contact and cooperation in bilateral, regional and global issues. Both countries have cooperated closely in multilateral fora and were the founding members of the non-aligned movement. As you can see visuals coming to you from the saluting base, we've got an invited audience that is really keen and waiting patiently in this cold weather for the parade to begin. We also have 200 students and teachers who will be part of the Prime Minister's initiative of Pariksha Pe Charcha as special guests of today's parade. And you can see them enthusiastically waving to the camera as it's spanning across, taking their pictures. This year's celebrations reflect the Prime Minister's vision of Jan Bhagidari, and the week-long celebrations for Republic Day begin on the 23rd of January, the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and ends on the 30th of Jan, which is Martyrs' Day. Some other highlights of this year's celebration sees a special cultural extravaganza, that is the Vande Bharatiyam group of dancers drawn from across the country. We've got Tales of Bravery by Veer Gatha 2.0 participants, a special military tattoo and tribal festival, melodious performances by an All India School Band competition, military and Coast Guard bands at the National War Memorial, NCC camps, digital sculpture projection, drone show, projection mapping, digital tributes at the National War Memorial, the Tyag Chakra, and of course Bharat Parv celebrations. The Republic today reminds us that as a nation we have entered the last quarter of our centenary celebrations, truly a period of Amrit Kal to touch new heights of glory and attain